The Crypto Street Podcast is hosted by Crypto Dale, Prince, and Killer Whale, who can be found on Twitter at CryptoDale, at Killer Whale, K1LLERWH4LE, and at 13Prince31. None of this should be construed as investment advice. For information on how to join our private Telegram group, The Pod, please email tcsp@protonmail.com. The Crypto Street Podcasts are officially sponsored by 21 Cryptos, the world's first and only cryptocurrency trading magazine. Visit 21cryptos.com and enjoy 50-plus pages of pro tips and predictions, an analysis of the best 21 coins to invest in for the month, trading lessons and articles from your favorite pros, price action event calendars, entertainment, and lots more. Stay ahead of the game and get your copy today. Visit 21cryptos.com.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Crypto Street Podcast. As always, my name is Crypto Dale. I want everyone to know how fucking hard it was for Killer and I to record those whales at the beginning. Killer, how long were we in the ocean in the Pacific?
I'd say we were in there for a solid 3 hours at least. My blowhole was so sore at the end.
It was so salty and shit, and they just would not talk to each other. So we finally had to make some shit happen and throw some. I think Prince was in the bus or in the boat throwing some plankton out so they'd make some fucking noise or something.
Throwing plankton. Jesus.
How's my favorite Canadian doing?
Cold, but I'm still living, so another
Prince
day
is doing better than
here.
last time when he was sick as a dog.
Yeah, I'm getting a little healthier, so.
What's the temperatures up there?
Oh, God, like minus 30 today?
What?
Yeah, it's cold as fuck here, too.
Jesus, bro. That's like can't go outside.
Negative 23 this morning.
Yeah, my truck didn't even want to start today, so there was that.
Mine either. It's one of them when you walk outside to start your truck, your nose hairs freeze instantly.
Hey, guys, it was about 75 and sunny in California today.
Yeah, don't rub it in.
Sorry.
Yeah, but you guys have way more smog than we do, so take that.
True. My lungs are being destroyed.
So we've got a pretty awesome guest out here, one of my favorite Ardor roll call men, Crypto Messiah. What's going on, man?
Hey.
A beautiful intro.
How's it going?
Hey.
This guy's got voice.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Yo, yo.
Feel like I was listening to a mixture of Fergie and Jesus there.
Wow, that's honored.
That's what he was going for.
So what's good on your end? Anything?
Nothing much, guys. Just another day watching the market. Everything looks pretty good. I'm pretty excited. Just kind of sit on your hands mode. Shit post as much as possible to keep myself from being on Bittrex, keep myself from making any trades I don't need to make.
Yeah.
Just hang out and try to help people or, whatever. I'm glad Christmas is over. And as many of you saw me on Twitter, I was the Grinch. So
Yes, you were.
Time to move on.
I've come to realize that the more successful you are, it's more shit posting, less trading.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
Well, like we talked about it before, like you get way more followers that way.
It's true.
I'm the prime case example of that.
Yeah, me too, man. When I first started, it was all calls, charts, TA, in and out moves, and I was like, I wasn't getting shit. And you start making fun of people and just posting nonsense.
I don't get any love when I post a chart that has a potential bearish scenario, so I just stop sharing.
It's a golden rule of Twitter posts. Nothing bearish.
Unless
Nobody
you have like
likes
a rocket pointing straight up on your chart, you could be in for a tough crowd. So,
and Randy brought up a good point too the other day in the pod. This was maybe other day means like a month or two ago. He started posting the most bullish posts ever, and that fucker has erupted in followers.
Yeah.
Shout out non-dual, whatever the hell it is.
Non-dual
Randy
Nelly.
Marsh.
That's how I always say.
Non-dual Nelly, that's right. So Messiah, let's touch base. How did you get into crypto? When did you get in? What was it what did crypto catch your eye with?
Oh, it was actually in 2013, and I was just your average plebe. I was in love, and I was like, how am I going to, how am I going to be anybody that this girl would want to be with? Because I can't imagine that she would want to stay with me. And I was searching around on the internet, like how to get rich and, just shit that, guys will search for,
Yeah.
How to be a baller, not literally, but, like I came across this thing called, Dogecoin, and everybody was, wow, this is, it's such wow. Everybody's going to be a millionaire, blah, blah, blah. And I've always been a geek, that I've always had, gaming PCs and, with up-to-date graphics cards. And, I found out that I could mine this shit. And I was like, what the fuck? This is crazy. I can literally, instead of playing my video games, like I can just print money. So, I started mining it, and, it was crazy. I was making like a Bitcoin a week.
Jesus.
Back then. I started mining Dogecoin, and, I was just hooked, and it wasn't, crypto, had this unique appeal that I think all of you can identify with. It wasn't just about the money, but it was also about your own personal journey, kind of finding out who you were as a person, growing up, meeting like-minded individuals. It was about the community, which really hooked me in, the memes, the trolling. I mean, I liked it all. I mean, I'm sure as anybody that's listening to this, could probably identify with. I mean, it was just, it was love at first sight, and, of course, when I started out, I was a genius, and I made money on Doge, and, this thing called Earthcoin came out, and it was the next Bitcoin, because back then everything was the next Bitcoin, and you had to, that everybody was trying to find out, what the next Bitcoin was going to be. And that we went through this whole craze where, this one's got a better algorithm. This one has faster block times. This one has this, all these bullshit features, Mooncoin, Blackcoin, Mintcoin. And then eventually, I just got absolutely, totally wrecked. But, back then, having $400 was crazy money, for me at least. And I was like, oh man, like I need to get enough money to get another 280X GPU. Like that was my goal. I need to get a couple of these bad boys, because if I can mine 1 Bitcoin a week, there's guys out there with 5 of these that are mining, that are making 5. And, she put up with me, now my fiance. I still remember, staying up late, trying to catch the Insta mines. That was all the rage back then, on, for instance, Monacoin, all the Chinese.
What is an Instamine? That was, before I got involved.
It's just, so every coin has a block time adjustment algorithm. And so they've launched these coins with like really loose block time adjustment periods. So the blocks would move really quickly at first. So the people that would jump right on it at launch, would mine. I used to solo mine, 20, 30 blocks, which might be a Bitcoin or two. And, I'd stay awake all night, waiting for the launch. And then, sometimes the launch would fail, and you would just stay up all night for nothing. And sometimes you just make a killing. Like I still remember there's this coin called Particle that was using, the Quark algorithm. And, it was really interesting because there was a GPU miner available for the Quark algorithm, Smolin's GPU miner, but he took a fee. But I still remember, I not only did I Instamine that, but I used the GPU miner for that algorithm on Particle, and I don't think anybody else was, and I mined just a shitload of blocks when the thing launched. It was a lot of fun. I'm not a miner anymore just because, it's extremely competitive now, and guys like Not So Fast that are just killing the mining game. It requires a whole nother level of expertise, from what I do, from any kind of trading or bag holding or whatever you ever want to call it. But, that was my start kind of as a miner. And as a dreamer, which, I think a lot of us were and still are even. Shit, I'm still dreaming every day.
Yeah, I think that's key too. A lot of people come into this space, like myself, got into pay off debt essentially, and at first you read about everything and think, okay, this is too good to be true, seeing some potential gains and whatnot, and then you start actually making some money on some trades and start realizing, holy shit, this is actually legit and not like your typical internet, searching. Because I did the same thing, Messiah. When in college, I'm like, okay, I'm lazy as fuck. Let's try and find a way that I can just make oodles and oodles of cash without doing anything. And realistically, there's nothing out there like that. And crypto's not even like that either. So don't think that if you're listening that this is something you can just jump in and make shit ton of money, because you can't.
You want to hear my story? This is actually a decent one.
Yeah.
And so
I would love to.
Yeah, I remember I was in high school and I was reading that Wolf of Wall Street book. So right then and there, high school kid, young and dumb, you got to think, oh man, that's the lifestyle. That's the way to live. I got to be a trader because I got to be rich and I got to live this lifestyle. So sure enough, I go in, and I think in my first year and a half, 2 years, I got completely destroyed, and I was like, man, that book is just a load of shit. Like, what was I thinking? So, but, kind of a turn of like maturity and all that. But yeah, that was what got me into trading. Go figure. Jordan
crypto's
Belfort.
so unique too, because it's so complex and there are so many different aspects to it, from math to programming to investments and finance and trading and all that, and psychology. It's like it involves like more aspects of just like different sources and types of knowledge than almost anything I can think of. Game theory. I mean, it's fascinating to explore, and it takes so long to really get a grasp on it. At least for me, it did.
Well, it's it's like an opposite of what natural human tendencies want to do. Being in the markets will kind of exploit that. And if you can go against those natural tendencies, you can do pretty well. But that's really the big thing that I think so many people just struggle with.
Messiah, when you're looking at a potential investment, maybe say an altcoin, well, what are some things that you look at, and how do you value, or what are some things that you use to value that altcoin?
Well, it's actually an extremely easy process. First and foremost, I generally start out on CoinMarketCap, and my area of expertise is mid caps, and that's where I do the best. I have never been a good microcap trader, and I probably never will be. I mean, to successfully trade microcaps is a totally different game. It requires different levels of research. It's more risk, but there are more reward as well. But I would define mid caps now, and this is even crazy saying this because this used to be like crazy large cap, as like $100 million to $500 million market capitalization. And I first filter my results by that, and then I will do research in every one of those coins. I'll look up their Bitcoin talk thread. I will go to their website. I will research who's on their team, and it kind of just wait for myself to get kind of a gut feeling like, oh, like shit, this looks pretty legit. This looks pretty good. And then at that point, if I even make it that far, I'll pull up the chart, and if it's wrecked as fuck and on, previous support, I buy it. Otherwise it's a pass. So honestly, it's pretty simple. It doesn't require genius to do it. And I don't think, finding coins is the hard part. In this game, I think the hard part is execution, acting on something when it is that low and when it is that down and people are that depressed about it. I mean, it is really, really difficult to say, I am going to buy this total fucking bullshit coin, because I have a strong feeling that people are wrong about it. Which is, at that point in time, everybody's saying this coin sucks. All they've been doing is selling, right? And then the next most difficult part, or maybe the most difficult part, is the hold. And honestly, I got my roots holding, with a coin called Decred, which in 2016, it came out, and I still remember reading the announcement thread, and I was just like, holy shit, this coin is the most legit announcement I've seen in a long time. Like, these guys are extremely professional, and the way they handled the airdrop, and I just knew that there was something just beyond ordinary with the coin. So what did I do? I got excited and I bought it. And, I had other positions and stuff back then. And, I still remember Decred just would not stop bleeding, and it went down, and I bought some more. And I was like, all right, fuck you. I bought bottom. I'm a badass. And then it went down some more, and I was like, oh shit, I'm like halfway down in my investment now. Like, this isn't good. I better buy some more. And it kept doing it, and it kept doing it. And eventually I'd sold everything I had to average down on Decred, because I knew the fundamentals were that good. And I knew at some point, whether it be in 6 months or a year, I knew that was my only salvation, to just wait it out, and to just stick it out. And it was gut wrenching, because back then my only goal was to actually be able to afford a nice engagement ring for my fiance. And I was like, if I can just get this engagement ring, out of Decred, then I will be extremely happy. And that's all I can ask for, So, 2017 came, and of course, and altcoins just went absolutely freaking crazy, and I was able to get the engagement ring, and then some. But I still remember just that feeling of being a bag holder, and that feeling of just averaging down forever. And it made me sick at my stomach, to be honest. And after having that experience, I kind of changed my entire outlook on bag holding. Not only that, but entries as well. And that's why I refined the process to include more TA as well as FA. Because, everybody's got their own game. I've always been a strong believer in fundamental analysis, just because it's the why. Why should I buy something? Why should this move? And I get it. Shitcoins pump. They just do. I have Vox right now. That's a shitcoin. It's the most hated shitcoin there has ever been, and it is pumping. I mean, why is it pumping? Who fucking knows?
Yeah,
I have no idea who's buying this shit. I mean, you're an absolute moron. But okay, keep buying it. That's fine. But it's literally just a matter of finding something that you get that gut feeling on. And people will flame me all day for saying that gut feeling because, trading's not about a gut feeling. Well, if you have experience in crypto, a gut feeling is just almost like a manifestation of your subconsciousness, telling you.
That's a great way of putting it.
That everything know about crypto is just kind of setting off your spidey senses about something. And I can't discount that enough. If you've done enough research and you get a good feeling about a coin, I mean, just figure out what it's about. Look at the chart. Is it at the, has it bounced from that price before in the past? Which it's literally as simple as that. I mean, I'm not a fucking genius. It's literally a retard could do this. Has it bounced before? Do you have a good feeling about it? And can you bag hold? That's it. Yeah. And if you can do those things, you're set. It's fine. I mean, it really is easy. And people like to glorify, these altcoin traders and blah, blah, blah. But honestly, there's no glory to it. It's so fucking simple.
Mm-hmm. It's just controlling your emotions. That's the biggest thing. And
and it's so hard.
That's where so many falter. Yeah. It's so funny. I want to touch on that, trusting your gut because, I'm a big believer in the same thing. When you have conviction and your gut is screaming at you to buy, you can't ignore that. And it's funny because even if, there's a lot of people who say, don't trust your gut instinct. Like that's not a critical analysis. That's not logical. It's like, you know what? We're trading in a market. The markets aren't always logical. So one, thinking that it has to be a logical thing is not always a valid statement to me. But two, if you want to look at guys, again, I talk about George Soros a lot. His own son has said that George Soros making a portfolio decision can be as simple as him waking up and his back hurts in the morning. And that'll be him. Okay, this position has to go. Or, Stephen Cohen literally says 50% of what he does is just his instinct. So I like that because a lot of people discount instinct. And
I really like how you phrased it like a culmination of your subconscious, because it's really what it is. I mean, you're considering, at least to a little degree, everything you've learned at some point in time in crypto, everything you know about markets, everything you've every time you've looked at a chart and something's happened, you've gone, I knew it, I knew that formation. Like every little instance of that is kind of manifesting itself in that opinion, whether you realize it or not. I also think it's really interesting how you said you started off with the engagement ring as that being kind of your goal for the money. I had a similar experience, not with an engagement ring at all, but I really wanted to get a motorcycle, which looking back seems absolutely like insane. I don't want one anymore, but I wanted to save up for a motorcycle. And so I threw some money at crypto and it just took off from there.
But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I think a lot of people are here for those kind of reasons. We had small goals and those small goals kind of turned into these dreams. And, I keep telling people and, honestly, I try not to just talk about Bitcoin to anybody anymore. I mean, outside of my little nerd group of friends, which, you guys are kind of a part of. But, it's just annoying fucking talking to people about it now, in my opinion, because, they don't, you have to go through the whole, is it a bubble conversation?
Oh, yeah.
And people just don't understand what a global phenomenon this is. And even if it is a bubble, I mean, the .com bubble at its absolute maximum phase was like a $10 trillion bubble, and was a domestic phenomenon. It was greedy people from the U.S. getting in it, but they were investing in greed. They weren't investing in something that would change the world. They weren't investing in a movement. Whereas, with Bitcoin, it's 600 billion or whatever market capitalization and a global phenomenon. So a lot of people have said, and, I'm starting to kind of agree with this, although, I don't know about you guys, I have more paper money than I ever thought I would at this point in my life, than I ever would. And it's kind of, it is kind of gut wrenching. It is kind of scary because, you want to be intelligent about what you managed to have and, you don't want to give it back. And just being able to, the feeling of being able to be comfortable and, get yourself out of debt, and not be a debt slave and, pay your bills and stuff is that's all any person can ever ask for. I mean, that's true freedom.
It's awesome, but it's also kind of scary too, because you have more to lose. Like when I had zero money, I was like, fuck it. I don't care. I'm throwing everything I got at this. I don't give a damn if it goes to zero. I basically have zero anyway. It's like, but now it's like when you have something to lose, that's a scary thing. Like it takes care of a lot of problems, but there are some other problems that come with it.
Oh, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. But honestly, I do think 2018 is going to be such a crazy year for crypto. And, we're talking about this S-curve adoption where, we're in this rapid kind of expansion phase, but, that's kind of the anti-bubble argument is that, we could rapidly expand, but maybe that doesn't necessarily mean that, what goes up must come down. Maybe at some point, the level of expansion just slows significantly. Which honestly, I'm not a top collar, or anything, and, I'm trying to be a believer just because I've been a believer thus far and also trying to be logical at the same time, which is difficult. But, it's when we were talking about gut feelings earlier, I think that we have such an advantage, in that area or anybody that's actually a member of the crypto community. I mean, if you're a member of like the pod chat room, in places like that, because you can actually feel these emotions with these people. And that can't be discounted. It's just, if you feel a certain way, that, other like-minded individuals, people like you, that think like you, that act like you, that have the same dreams and aspirations as you, feel the same way. And that's an advantage that we'll have over any kind of institutional money or Wall Street banksters or, anybody like that coming in, which is really cool in my opinion. I mean, the whole community effect of this is just unstoppable and it's unprecedented.
Yo, Masai, let's elaborate a little more on what you think 2018 is going to bring to crypto.
It's just, there's going to be a lot of money coming in. And, this altcoin season that we're seeing the beginnings of now is fixing to be just absolutely absurd. I mean, the fact that Next pumped to 14,000 Satoshi is just unfathomable to me. And, you're going to see other just crazy pumps. And maybe there is a bubble and maybe that bubble is altcoins. Cause the fact that Dogecoin is worth as much as it is just, that's fucking insane. And just things like that. But 2018 we're going to see a lot of people coming to crypto. My dad called me from a restaurant last night. He had a couple beers and he was like, yo, dude, there's a Bitcoin guy at the restaurant. Here, I'm going to put you on the phone with him. And I was just like, no.
Please don't.
Like, please don't. Please don't. But we're going to start seeing everybody talk about it, which, we're already kind of seeing now. And I think we're at a phase right now where a lot of people are talking about it because it's cool to talk about, but I don't think a lot of those people have put their money where their mouths are yet. We're
they don't really get it yet either.
There's so much volatility.
Very basics, but
it's just very. But I think we're going to have this a bigger understanding of Bitcoin. For one, greater adoption. We're going to see ETFs probably come online, after these futures markets, and everybody that trades in the futures markets like CME and CBOE are saying that like the launch of those futures products was extremely successful, which is really good for us. It shows that there is this institutional interest, and everybody's always like, oh, they're opening CME because they're going to short Bitcoin to zero, right? The fuck would they do that? Because there's limited potential for profit if you want to short something to zero. We can short from wherever we're dumping right now, right? We can short from $14,000 to zero and make money, right? But how much more money could we make if we took it from $14,000 to $100,000?
That's right.
There's enormous upside potential. And like I was saying earlier, we're not even close to .com levels of money inflow. So I think it's going to be unfathomable. I think that some of us are going to make extreme life-changing wealth. And I think that some of us that already have extreme life-changing wealth are going to make wealth just beyond our wildest dreams. But it's not, as one of you was saying earlier, it's not just easy, it's really not. This is my full-time job. I'm also a full-time student. And, this enables, a lot of things I do, but it's, it's going to be something that everybody's going to need to be very smart about. In my opinion, I will always hold Bitcoin. Always, but I think everybody should have a number in their head. If I'm able to acquire this much wealth, I need to diversify, and I need to, because this amount of wealth can change my life. This amount of wealth can provide income that will allow my family to have a certain lifestyle forever. This kind of wealth will pay for my kids' college one day. And I think we all need to put this in perspective, and be grateful for the fact that we got in so early. And even, at this point, 2016, you're an early adopter, even beginning of 2017, you're an early adopter. Have a number and know when to get out, regardless of what happens. And that's, a lot of times in shitcoins, I catch grief because, oh, Messiah, you dumped too early, man. This shit, it went 5x after you dumped. Well, that's okay. I'm not here for chasing 20x gains. I want to get a nice 5 or 10x and then move to something else, with lower risk, because as we were talking about earlier, I'm afraid of losing what I have. And I'd rather keep my risk profile as low as possible. But with Bitcoin, yeah, have a number in your head, and when it hits that number, take 90% out. You could throw it in, annuities and blue chips and treasury bonds, and just all sorts of different things that pay an ROI, and have income for life, and have relatively safe income for life, and not be as exposed to this crypto market. So that's my number one thing, and that's what I think we'll see.
But yeah, it's kind of crazy because most people, when you come in, they start with money that they can afford to lose, relatively small sums of money. You want to be safe. That's just how everybody really, from my experience, plays it. That's how I played it. But then next thing you know, all of a sudden it's not just money you can afford to lose anymore. It becomes actually something substantial, which, to me has been one of the craziest things to have to try to adapt to, because mentally it's a whole new thing as well, right? You're not dealing with this little, maybe a couple $100 or, just a couple $1,000 anymore, right? It's growing substantially. It's like, whoa, it can become overwhelming at times, right? And like we look back, it wasn't long ago, Bitcoin, it was around like 700 or so. Like it feels like it was just yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And shit, even one Bitcoin's not money. Yeah, I'm prepared to lose. That's a shitload of money, Especially, I know we're all young guys here. I think we're all under 30. So, that's a shitload of money, especially considering that most guys our age are up to their eyeballs in debt, that's enough to pay off a nice chunk of debt. So,
yeah, I was looking at a chart today of like what percentage or what quartile or whatever you're in based on, if you're 25 to 30, if you're 20 to 25. And it's like pretty incredible what crypto enables, cause like pretty much everybody I know in crypto was in, the top like 5% for their age bracket, and that's pretty incredible when you think about it. And that's in the US too. That's not worldwide. So that's relative to other fairly well off successful people because it's the US, in general. So important to keep perspective too.
I think to touch base a little more on the number too, you were talking, Messiah, I think when people enter trades, they should have a number in their head on what they want to get out and stick to it. It always seems when people get a little greedier, I know myself too, it's happened before. You think, okay, I hit my target. Now let's raise my target. And then you just get totally wrecked.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And honestly, it's just your bias, because of the euphoria that you're experiencing. You start getting excited and, you have 5x, 10x your money. Start thinking to yourself, what if I got another 2x from here? Wouldn't that be something, right? Because, that's a 20x at this point. That's just crazy. I still remember last alt season, don't get me wrong. I did pretty well for myself last alt season, but I missed out on so many opportunities because with Decred, I found myself in that mentality. And, you know, one thing about this is you always need to be evaluating yourself, because you're going to be more honest with yourself than anybody else is, if you can face yourself, which is honestly really difficult, you know, because no one likes to, talk shit about themselves in their head, right? I mean, we're all perfect. So
I think a lot of people actually kind of deceive themselves to a large degree. I think it's really hard to be honest with yourself. I think a lot of people think they're, I think almost everyone thinks they're smarter than they actually are, because everyone in general thinks they're above average intelligence.
Right.
But that's kind of hard sometimes, though. You know, it's hard to look at yourself objectively for me.
I 100% agree with that. And even if you're, above average intelligence or even a genius, you find yourself in this loop, where you begin to have, higher expectations of yourself than reality, than the reality actually is. And that was really difficult for me, because after last trading season, I said, all right, you have made it this far. What could you have done to make, to do even better? What could you have done to, lose less money? What could you have done to lock in more profits, to compound more? And that's when I formulated my strategy for this alt season. And, I've been thinking about what I'm going to do this alt season and preparing for that for, ever since the last one ended. And of course I was down in Bitcoin like everyone else when this alt season started. Of course, I had some buys that I made too early. But, not as early as I had before. So I didn't have to, draw down as much. But, just learning when to kind of take profit is extremely hard. And I remember with Decred, I was biased, because I was, the community manager for Decred at the time. So I was like, okay, shit, we're going to the moon, right? It spiked up to like 0.02, which is just wicked crazy. And I was like, in my head, I just started looking at charts, and all I saw was just bullish. I was like, Decred is so bullish right now, man. Like this shit's, we're going to go to 0.05, and I'm going to be twice as rich, and this is going to be great, so I kept holding and holding. Meanwhile, everything else went 20x. So I was like, fuck, what if Decred was the first pump of the alt season. What if I had taken that gift and that money, that I'd made and that had made me so liquid at the beginning of alt season? And what if I had rolled it to other things that hadn't pumped, and I had reduced my risk and reduced my downside potential, and then I'd gotten even 5x on everything I rolled to? Like, that would be crazy money. So this alt season, I'm really big on dumping it. You have to dump it. You can't, and I've got a good friend of mine, Gambler, Crypto Gambler on Crypto on Twitter. And, me and him have been friends for a long ass time, and you guys should probably have him on, just because his mental game is extremely strong and his perspective in these markets is extremely good. But we've been friends back since, Archcoin, which you guys may or may not remember. But everybody was CEOs. Everybody was going to get, shares and have these Mobies, which are like essentially just floating triangles. The shit we believed back then was just unbelievable. But, I still remember, we both kind of were learning these markets and learning how to trade together. And one thing he always says is there is only the pump, which cannot be more true. And I see people walking the same path I've walked, where you start believing in a coin, and you start believing that this is game changing, that this is some next level shit right here. I'm getting it on the ground floor. What's not? The harsh reality is just about everything your shitcoin can do, Bitcoin could do, with the right upgrade. And sure, maybe it'll take a while for Bitcoin to do this, but a lot of times these altcoins are solving problems that don't exist yet. So who cares if it takes Bitcoin a while to do this? When the problem exists, maybe, people will jump on it. But learn how to dump, and dumping something that you're so connected to, that you've been through so much with, it can be so difficult. Me and this shitcoin, we've survived, all these downturns, and, we survived all the FUD together. And, it's easy to form these emotional attachments to your bags. So that's why, you just have to be an asshole with your bags. When you buy something, you have to know that, hey, like, I love you right now, but I'm probably going to break up with you in the future. And just accept that. Now, there is a small exception to that, which in my opinion, is business applications of blockchains. And I think that's something we're going to really see take off in 2018. And it's kind of like Ethereum almost, but, blockchain as a service is going to be absolutely huge. And especially not just blockchain as a service, because a lot of times when you see, these things, it's just a team of nerds, developing a product. That's not enough. You need to see a blockchain company that's run as a business, that provides a product for businesses. And I mean, they're going to be entering kind of a world of uncharted growth, because you're going to have truly big money coming in and investing in platforms like that. Things like Waves, things like Arter, things like Lisk, Ethereum. I'm extremely bullish on those, but even at some point, if the profits get lucrative on them, you have to dump it. You just do. And it's not, it doesn't mean you hate the coin. Doesn't mean, like, hey, fuck this project, like, y'all suck now, I'm dumping you. But it's just all about reducing your exposure to the market. And it's all about just being able to move on and being able to put your money in something that still has growth potential for you. Because this is such a life-changing opportunity for all of us. And it's so important that we all capitalize on that. It's so important that we all move forward. And if you have a 5X, and, people are always saying, oh, you suck, Messiah, Redblocks went 100X and you only captured 20X. Fuck you, dude. I'm like, oh, you know what? But I can take that 20X and I can put it, in something else that'll 5X, and I can put it in something else that might 10X too. And now I have a 200X. So go fuck yourself. But you kind of have to keep that attitude and keep your expectations, just be a pessimist.
And like people who aren't involved in it too, like they have no idea. Like you can never catch the exact bottom or the exact top. It's not possible. If you can get kind of the 80% in between, you're doing really well.
Oh, and yeah, you're so right.
Well, and these markets are so irrational, right?
Yeah.
Like trying to pick an exact top, or even a bottom for that sake. To me, it's one of the hardest things to do in crypto because it is so irrational. These markets are so pure in a sense, where it's complete market participants that are pushing this. You don't have it run completely by the machines yet. So psychologically, everything on the chart can just be crazy because we're just playing this holder sentiment, really, right? How are the traders feeling? What's the herd doing?
Yeah. I agree with that. Like I said, I'd never thought Next was going to have 14,000, and that's absurd, But here's the thing: you've got noobs being like, "Oh, but Ignis futures are priced at $6." I'm like, that's not Ignis, you fucking idiot. That's a futures product, which is a liquid and easy to pump. So it's funny. I mean, and I love this space, and I know you guys too. But just the psychology of these markets is hilarious. And you're so right that you're never going to sell top or bottom. And if you can just play the 50% even in between, you're already killing it. And you can make so much money just playing that 50%. And I mean, money that normal stock market guys would be just like, holy shit, that's insane.
Oh, yeah.
So take what you have, don't be greedy.
I think that's what a lot of it boils down to, is taking something and not being greedy. And if your target was hit, take it and run.
Well, it's tricky too, right? Like you got to know when to take your profit. But the issue is, and you touched on it, Messiah, was this emotions, right? All of a sudden you get into this big profit and you're like, oh, well, this thing's going to change the world. I can't ever sell this because it's already gotten me this far. It's going to get me this much farther.
Well, it's hard. I see guys right now on Twitter, that are defending Next. And they're like, oh, but the airdrop's still happening tomorrow. We're going to go to 25,000 Satoshi. Have you seen the fucking blow off on this chart, dude? Like, no, we're not. Like, what are you talking about? But they couldn't let go of that greed. And, I sold Next early. I didn't capture that entire pump. I did buy a bottom, which is insanely fucking rare. I picked it up between 700 and 1,000.
Yeah, Messiah, I gotta commend you, man. That play of yours, because you were pretty vocal about it, it was nuts. Like, you crushed it, man.
Honestly, it was a lot of luck, though, and I never imagined it to do this, and I bought where it had bounced before, like I said, which doesn't make me a genius. It just makes me, honestly, just an educated gambler. I thought it was gonna bounce down there, and I bought it. And people like to glorify that, but it really is just kind of simple. And I fucking bag held it, and it went up a little bit, and then it went down, and people said, "Oh fuck, this is bullshit. It's not going up anymore." But I was like, no, I've got to hold this. And I think I sold out of Next. My maximum sell order that was hit was around 8,000. But yeah, I missed out on maybe another 2x. But at that point, the risk of that trade was that I was going to lose 2x as well. So I went and I found other shit, and I bought Bancor, which I'm pretty up on, and I bought Byteball, which I'm up on, and I bought a bunch of little tiny bags, which I'm up on as well. So I'm almost 2x on pretty much everything I bought with those Next profits. So I did capture the whole move. and I still have room left, and now you're wrecked. So yeah, I think that's a really important lesson. I'm glad that was brought up. Don't ever try to capture the whole move, because that's greedy. And when you do that, you're going to lose unless you're extremely lucky, and you're going to miss opportunities.
And you mentioned luck. I mean, and that's the thing. If you do win, don't let it go to your head, because odds are you just got lucky, because trading is not the sort of thing that almost anybody can do really consistently well. It's super tough.
Well, we're just playing probabilities, right?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, really, as traders, we're just educated gamblers.
That's right.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's go to kind of over-under 2018 predictions on a couple things. So, Messiah, how this works is I'll say a coin and give a price target. We're going to go with a time frame of towards the end of 2018. So you're just going to say if it's going to be over or under that. Sound good?
Yeah, easy enough.
So let's start with Ethereum over under 2000, currently at 723.
Sure. Over.
Yeah, I think Ethereum will go over. I'm pretty bullish on Ethereum going into 2018 here and so on.
I think so too. I think fairly easily 2000 by the end of 2018 also.
One that everybody seems to love that I fucking hate is Ripple. It's currently at $1.32.
Like
been kind of hanging around that for a while. Be over $2.50.
Yeah, I think Ripple goes over. I think it'll do it pretty easily. It's one of the first coins that people always seem to talk about when they come into the market, right? Like I have buddies who just consistently ask me, "Hey man, what's this Ripple about?" It's like, I kind of avoid Ripple, but they're always talking about Ripple, and you gotta love the gains it puts out, right? Even though I avoid it, it's putting out these big gains. So it's a runner. I think it'll go. Gets a lot of attention.
Yeah, I'm going way over. We talked about Ripple a little bit ago, how we thought once it broke $1, it might kind of hover around there for a little bit and go a little bit past $1. If you're looking at it right now, it's pretty much doing exactly that. I mean, it went above $1, it dipped below, kind of hung around 80, 85 cents for a while, and now it's gone back above $1. It's hanging around 115, 120-ish. I think way over 2.5 by the end of 18.
Which is disgusting.
That makes me feel dirty.
I know, right? Bitcoin Cash currently at 2,683, over under 5,500.
Yeah, I think Bitcoin Cash goes over. I think it'll be pretty easy for it too, actually. Just, looking at what the market's coming in with, where it's listed now, it's on Coinbase, which is a major hub for new entrants. I think it won't be too hard for it to get over.
Yeah, fuck Bitcoin Cash, right? Everybody does hate it. But the thing is about it is, you can't underestimate Roger Ver and Jihan Wu, and I mean, McAfee's just a sock puppet. He's just kind of a pawn, I think, and obviously, I think he can be paid to show you a shitcoin or whatever. But you can't underestimate Bitcoin Cash, and not just because of what it is or whatever, but it's the fact that if Bitcoin does decide to go to 40,000, 50,000, even at the most outrageous end of the spectrum, $100,000, there's Bitcoin Cash traded against Bitcoin, and it's going to benefit from that pairing. So over $5,000, I think, is a no-brainer, especially if we're going to be extremely bullish on Bitcoin. I think you have to be bullish on Bitcoin Cash, at least from a US dollar perspective.
Yeah, and another thing, like, going on that, there's so many people who get their emotions tied up because they just think, oh, Roger Ver is such a bad guy. Jihan Wu is such a bad guy. I don't want to trade this. I refuse to touch this. I have an ethical thing against it, a moral thing. And so their whole emotions just cloud everything about it, right? When they could be trading this, just trading it logically, because really critically and logically, you think about the market, it's probably not going anywhere. It's probably going to do well with the rest of the market. Don't let those emotions cloud you.
That's a great point, and it ties in with separating your emotions. Just because you don't like those guys doesn't mean they're not smart, doesn't mean they don't have resources. So you got to play the game too. I see people ignore investments that they don't like for some kind of ethical reason all the time. And I always talk about this, but earlier this year, I was buying up Ripple at 0.5 cent each, and I was getting so much shit for it on Twitter too. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's a scam. Like, who cares? Like, what are you doing? It's not decentralized." I'm like, "Hey, I don't give a shit. It's at 0.5 cent right now, and it has like corporate partnerships. New people are going to see this. They're going to go, "Oh my god, it's under 0.5 cent. It's corporate," and drive it up. And that's exactly what's happened. You got to put yourself in the mind of the market participants, and not let personal opinions kind of cloud your judgment.
And I think you guys had him on in an earlier podcast. But a guy who can do that better than anyone else is Crypto de Medici. I mean,
Oh, he's tough.
that dude buys the most hated shit, and people hate him because he says good things about the things that they hate.
Yep.
And he's like, bitches, I'm bag holding the shit you hate, you know, like, and it's honestly, I'm even annoyed sometimes, like having him on my feed. I'm just like, oh, dude, you know, like making my skin crawl. Like, can you stop talking about it? But I mean, you're 100% right. I mean, you have to just ignore all of that noise and all of that hate. I mean, it is just noise and it is just a bandwagon, and people love jumping on the bandwagon, and especially, you know, people that can't form their own opinions, you know. Hey, I'm going to be a part of this community. Everybody hates fucking Bitcoin Cash, so I hate Bitcoin Cash. And honestly, I do hate Bitcoin Cash. And I'm not sure if that's my opinion or that's just like everybody else hates Bitcoin Cash, and so I fuck Bitcoin Cash, right? So I'm going to think that's cool. But yeah, I mean, it is fucking hilarious. And you're so right. Buying Ripple at half a cent. I mean, that's insane. Could you ever have imagined that? I mean, I don't know if you held or not, but that's 200x from where it is right now.
I sold some of it. I still have some, thankfully, but
holy shit. Crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
You know what I always like to say is I might hate something, but what I like is making money. So if it's going to make me money, I don't give a shit what it is.
Ripple, I hate you, but god damn do I respect you.
That's right.
Shit, I'd buy a dog turd if I thought it was going to appreciate it.
Yeah, so would I.
I mean,
I'd lick white dog shit if it was going to make me some money.
This what those Reese's you were talking about last time are, Dale, by the way.
Oh,
Those
geez,
trees.
get the fuck out of
Those
here.
little white dog turds.
Well, Messiah, you guys got anything chapping your ass here quick?
Yeah, it's like minus 30 out here. 25 minus 30 feels like minus 40.
Dude, I can't believe it's minus 30 there. Wait, actually, Prince, wait, that's Celsius though, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
fuck, that's nothing.
Come on, bro. You big pussy. What's that, like 35 degrees?
35 degrees.
35 degrees.
I think it's literally like 32 Fahrenheit, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong? I
Probably
don't
like
know.
60
I'm gonna sound really
degrees, you
stupid.
fucking
So many people are
bastard.
yelling at me just like, you idiot, you don't know the metric system.
32 is pretty wicked.
You don't
Man.
use it. Yeah.
Nah, honestly, I'm a pretty chill guy. And a lot of people think I'm a dick or whatever. And I kind of am, but, I think anybody that's ever like truly talked to me or asked me for help, you know, I always try to be real with them and I always try to help out. I think that's everybody's responsibility in this community. And you know, of course we're all fed up with the noobs that came in. I mean, sure, we were all noobs at one point. We were all fucking idiots, but just the sheer volume of noobs coming into the space now.
Yeah.
When Moon, what target?
Well, it's funny too, because, you know, like when I came in and I think the rest of us, it's like, I don't remember us as newcomers being that bad, always asking for targets and so on, you know, like I just, we weren't that bad in my recollection.
No, we weren't. I don't think maybe we were, but oh my God, they're so bad these days. And honestly, it's just the amount of, nobody has any humility. You know, we have all these people that create accounts, you know, 1 month ago that are fucking experts. It's just fucking annoying.
Yeah. Started in crypto Twitter bio, started 2013. Meanwhile, they're asking you for targets and so on. And when
Jesus.
Moon, like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Sir, please start this. Sir, tell me what to do. What's your plan? And that's the thing, you know, yeah, I did get lucky and called, you know, I nailed next, at least on the entry side. You know, people will kind of put you in a pedestal for that. I mean, whether you deserve it or not. I mean, to be totally honest, I mean, I bought it like any other bag I bought. But at the same time, you know, I've gotten all these things. What's your plan? What's your plan? What are you going to do? And I'm like, why the fuck would I tell you my plan? You know, and please just leave me alone. Like I'm not here to manage your portfolio. You know, I'm not here to make sure you get rich. I'm not here for your family. I'm here for me and I'm here for my family, you know, and I'm here for my friends. You know, I've talked to a lot of my friends about what my plans were and they've told me what theirs were. Yeah. A lot of these new people coming in just aren't humble at all. And they just are so entitled to your advice. And all of us now, I would assume would be viewed as experts in this field. You know, everybody here has been around the block at least. And we've seen a bear market, you know, and we're still here. We've survived. But yeah, I mean, that shit really is starting to take me the fuck off. And I know a lot of you guys have Twitter accounts too. My Twitter account's grown a lot. And honestly, like every time I check my notifications, I have 99 notifications and 60 of them are ones that are going to piss me off. So mean, it's just getting bad. But that's good too. I mean, when I look at the analytics and I see that 200,000 people have looked at my Twitter account of a fucking frog with a fly swatter in the last month.
Wait, by the way, were you guys part of that Segway 2X shit thread on Twitter today? I kept getting tagged in this thing. I don't know. I think it was like one of Rick's.
Fuck.
Oh,
that shit is so
it wasn't
annoying.
just me. Fuck. I don't even know what they're talking about.
Sir, are you dumping all your altcoins to get Sedgwick's 2X coin? Sir?
That's when you just post the kindergarten cop gif of "shut up."
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah, shut up.
All right, well, Messiah, thank you so much for being on. It was a great chat. Hopefully, people listening learned a thing or two. And if you haven't noticed, I love trolling you on on Twitter. So
hey, I mean, if you dish it out, you need to be able to take it.
absolutely, 100% agree.
So yeah, it's always going to be a good sport. And to anybody that's listening, if you ever have like a serious question and you're going to be humble about it and you're not going to be a total dick, I mean, just reach out and ask. And that doesn't mean like, should I buy this? What do you think about my coin?
Right.
If you have a question about, how I invest, how I manage my risk, the beautiful thing about this is there's not one way to do it. And I've seen so many awesome guests on this show, and I'm sure everybody has a little bit different perspective and everything, but everybody's successful in their own way. And that's what's important, is finding what you're comfortable with, what you want to be an expert in, and really getting deep into it. So I just want to thank these guys for having me on. It's actually been really fun. I'm sad we have to go because I'm having so much fun.
Yeah, you've been awesome. Thank you, man.
You guys are killing it on this podcast, guys. I can't imagine. I can't believe how fast it's taken off. But after being on it, and watching the podcast, I see why it has. You guys are really awesome, and you're fun to be around, and you're fun to watch. So congratulations on that.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Oh, thank you so much, Messiah, man. This has been awesome. Thank you.
Thanks again, everyone. As always, tip your waitress, take care, and we'll be in touch.